Most everyone is bullish on cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, which has made another recent high yesterday. But not all the cryptos are looking that good. Hang around and I'll tell you about it. Hi, this is Tim from Trading Strategy Guides. Everyone I talk to who knows anything about anything is bullish on cryptos. Even I'm bullish on cryptos, but not so much on this one. I'll tell you about it shortly. But first, remember you can save some time watching this video by clicking the gear icon in the lower right corner and selecting a new speed. Also, stick around to the end to hear the next trading maxim. Now I want to talk about a couple of charts before we get on this analysis. So Bitcoin is pushed to a new high right up here once again. As I mentioned in the video on the 24th of April, I took a small piece of this at the close right here. I still got it because I didn't get a close below this channel, and I had already identified this channel. So we're right now at the top of this channel, so I'm going to take a little bit off. Actually, I've already taken a little bit off right near the top of this channel. I'm going to set the remainder at break even, and we'll see how it goes. If I get stopped out on this, it pulls back down to the bottom of the channel, I will reload at the bottom of the channel here. We're just not getting the pullback that I expected, but that's because I think it's pretty strong. You may remember I entered Tesla short on this bar right here because it broke this low, this descending triangle. I got profit on that first half right here, set the second half to break even, got stopped out right here on the second half. There still seems to be interest in these individual bearish moves right here. But this push up today has been pretty strong on really strong volume as well. So it seems like we're getting dwindling volatility here for the most part, but good volume on moves in both directions. So you know, I'm considering a short on this rally. If this closes near the bottom here of this triangle, I will take a piece of this short, and I'll take the loss if it closes back in this triangle again. Okay, this is Coles. I talked about this a week or so ago. Looks like we might get a close below this bearish wedge right here. If we do today, I'll take this short. I'm going to watch this volume down here though. Not a whole lot of volume on this move. So if I don't get much more volume than this, and it's possible at this time of the day that, especially on Friday afternoon, we may not get the volume we need, I will hold off on this and see how it closes next week. Okay, now it's time to fear the crypto. Yes, it's Ripple. As I mentioned, an observant commenter pointed out last week that Binance had a good price feed for XRP. So as promised, I'm doing a new analysis, and unfortunately it's not good. Peter Brandt, an old school trader, I follow him on Twitter, he's awesome. He thinks it's do or die time for Ripple. Ripple has garnered a few customers, actually over 200 according to Ethereum World News here, but the chart doesn't seem to be budging at all. You know, I believe the chart is the last word on the price of a trading instrument. So let's take a look at it. Here's the XRP chart from Binance. As you can see, this thing is in a descending triangle and has been since way back in October. When you compare Ripple on the top with Bitcoin on the bottom, you can see there is a certain correlation between them. Bullish bar, this bar doesn't correlate well, but here's another bearish bar, bullish bar, and so on. So compare bar to bar. Typically when Bitcoin has an up day, XRP has an up day. The difference is Bitcoin is breaking levels when it has up days. XRP broke this level, but it did not close above this level. Bitcoin is in an uptrend for the last several weeks. Obviously, XRP is not. So while the correlation may hold from bar to bar, like I've talked about in the past, and most cryptos follow each other like that, the overall pattern is not the same. So XRP has been in this ever tightening consolidation now for 6 months or so, and descending triangles like this are typically bearish, and they can be expected to break to the downside. So all this pressure is continually building up and building up and building up, and we're getting really close to the apex of this triangle right here. So this level is somewhere just under 28.5 cents, and even the volume and the volatility, the volume average here has dropped off, the volatility has dropped off, so the interest in this consolidation is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So at some point this thing has got to break, and I believe that it will break to the downside. So I'm going to be selling on a close below this support level right here, as long as there's at least average volume, and it looks, we got average volume today so far, or close to it. So if there's at least average volume on this trade, I mean, it'd be even better if it was, huge volume, way up above the average. But even on average volume here, I'll take a piece of this short. And now it's my favorite time, and hopefully your favorite time for our trading maxim. Today we're looking at trading maxim number 32. There are as many profitable trading styles as there are profitable traders. How many times have I said that trading is very personal? If you've listened to me over the years, you've heard me say that a lot. Things that work for me may not work for you, and vice versa. I've said it lots of times, I have trouble focusing for long periods of time. That's just me. All my life I've trained myself to move on to the next thing, the so-called multitasking that everybody talks about. In retrospect, that probably wasn't a great plan, especially if I knew that I was going to be a trader later in life. But I can't stare at charts for hours without having my brain move on to everything else. So trading short-term charts just doesn't work for me. You may not have that problem. I used to work with a trader who could watch 1-minute charts for 18 hours without blinking. Well, maybe he'd blink once in a while, but he was a phenomenal scalper. I would miss half of his positions because I was reading my mail or watching cat videos or some other such thing. So if you ask me how I do things, I'll be happy to tell you. Can't stand these guys that you say, well, what should the stop be, or how do you do this, and then they tell you that trading is very personal, and just because I do, well, that's true, but you've got to have an example, you've got to have a point at which to start. So I'm not going to say that. But if you can't make it work the way I do, don't assume that you can't be a trader, or that you're not good, or that you're making mistakes. You just have to figure out what works for you. Okay, just to wrap up and remind you, XRP, short on a close below here with at least average volume support. Remember to add it to your watch list and look at it every single day. And also, if you've got a day job and you don't have time to analyze charts, this should be helpful to you. Trading Strategy Guides now offers the Strike Trader Elite Trade Signals service. You'll get Forex trade signals on a dozen or so pairs on all different time frames, all of them based on the Strike Trader Elite system that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. Look below this video for a link to the free signals on this Telegraph application. I'll also post a link to my video that explains the Strike Trader Elite system. Have I told you guys that you're my favorite people in the whole wide world? It's true, you know. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up below. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.